I got some good news, folks. I don't have any more IPAs in my refrigerator, so we're not doing any more IPAs anytime soon, thank goodness. But what I do have today is a great beer from a great company in Asheville, North Carolina. It's called Green Man. It's a wonderful, wonderful beer. It's a wonderful brewery. It is the Green Man Lager. Now, they don't really make a lager. They're usually making things like, yes, IPAs, but they actually excel in one type of beer that I absolutely love, and that would be a Green Man ESB, Extra Special Bitter. Now, I've talked about those before, and I really love Extra Special Bitters. But today, we're going to try their Green Man Lager. Okay, in the can here, it is a 4.2% alcohol, and I have never had anything from Green Man that's a lager or a pilsner or anything on that side of the spectrum. So we're going to find out what makes this beautiful beer tick, and we're going to do it on Okay, folks, we are about to review this beer. But first, I want to say a few things about Green Man. Green Man usually does ales. Again, if you aren't familiar with exactly what the differences are, there are lagers and there are ales. Okay, lagers, ales, and yes, there are things like barley wines, strong beers, etc., like that. But those two are the big major categories of beer. It's much like if you were to say, well, fish and mammals, or vertebrates and invertebrates, to put it in scientific terms like that. These are the major classes of beer, okay? And for them to make a lager, it's not impossible, but it's a stretch. Mainly because lagers have to go through a few more steps. They have to be brewed a little bit differently. The temperatures have to be lower. Okay, they use a different strain of yeast. And if you're not accustomed to doing that, it's a little bit difficult. So props to them for being able to do a lager. And this is a light one. It says crisp, clean, and crushable. Okay. What's your lightest beer? Sometimes people think, well, I'm going to come into a location, come into a beer hall, or come into a brewery and go, do you have anything like Budweiser, or do you have anything like such and such? Okay, well, maybe, maybe not. But we are going to try this beer here. What do you think? And we're going to do that in just a few seconds. Ah, wonderful. Well, I'm back. Sorry for the delay there. I had to take care of something. But other than that, we're going to get cracking here. We're going to pull the tab on this lager and find out what it is all about. Lovely sound. Now, I'm going to use my standard tumbler. Again, I don't care what you drink out of, but in lagers, tumblers are relatively common in America. We don't usually use steins or handled type of mugs, though we can. And in fact, in days of old, when Pizza Huts were bold, we would have these mugs with the handles, and I've got a couple of those, so that's not unusual. But let's pour it. Remember, we're going to follow the 5 categories here of the Beer Judge Certification Program. Ooh, look at that light! It is very light. Okay, wonderful. So let's take a look here. Remember the appearance, or the aroma, first of all. The appearance, the flavor, the mouthfeel, and the overall impression. So we're going to look at those 5 categories right there. Now, let's take a smell. I'm going to take it out of the can. That smells like a lager. It doesn't smell like Budweiser or anything else like that. It smells malty. It does smell of the hops, but it smells more like what they call a noble hops, and there are four noble hops. And I'm going to have to look those up. I know the one of them, Satz, Tettnanger, Hallertau, and I want to say Mittelfrüh. I don't know if that is completely correct, but I will look that up later on. So please don't argue with me. I'm just going to tell you what I think off the top of my head. But the aroma out of the can is very good. Not citrusy, not sweet, not clovey, not anything like that. Not piney, like it would be a pine or an evergreen. Nothing like that. But I can smell a little bit of the hops, like I said, malty, etc. I'll smell it out of here. Now, I reviewed the Narragansett a while back, and the Narragansett was really thin. I knew that. I knew what it was going to be like. No big deal. This is not Narragansett. So let's take a look at the appearance. This one is very straw colored, very, very light colored. It is a light beer. I'm going to say its SRM would be a 1 or a 2. If it approaches 3, I'd be really surprised, but whatever. It's slightly hazy. It almost looks like light lemonade. Okay, that's not a bad thing. There are a number of different lagers that are very light. Now, this has got a little haze to it. Okay, lagers, pilsners, that end of the spectrum. Remember, I said it was like 2 ends of the spectrum here. Really kind of need to be clear. Okay, this, of course, is brewed, conditioned a little bit, and sent out. Lagers, and just to kind of give you an idea, a lager comes from the German word to lagern. Okay, that's where you store things in, and they would take the beer and they would cask it and put it in caves. Now, from there, the beer would age. It would settle. Okay, so it would clarify really well, and when it came out, it was extremely clear. You'll see it a lot in pictures of German beers, what are just exceptionally clear. Okay, but it's the head on it isn't bad. It didn't stay, but it was extremely white. I like really white head foam on my lagers. I really do. It just tells me that there's not a lot of inclusion of some off ingredients. Okay. Generally speaking, it's going to be the 40 ingredients. It's going to be the water, malt, hops, and yeast. Okay. The yeast is going to make a very large impact on this. It should not be estery, that is, fruity or flavorful. It shouldn't be clove-like. It could be, I want to say, herbal. Okay, some pilsners are kind of herbal, and that would come from the hops, but it's not overly herbal. So let's take a look here again. Yeah, and the head didn't last. It is still bubbling up. It's got a lot of carbonation to it, which is good because I like carbonation in my lagers. They got to have carbonation to them, but not overly. And again, it's a 4.2% alcohol. You could drink this for a while. You could drink this. This is roughly what would be like your Budweiser style. So you're sitting back, you're kicking back, you're drinking a bunch of these. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call this an afternoon lawnmower beer, okay, because of its lower alcohol. But I would say that if you wanted something, you can go to a place, let's say they serve it there at that location, and you happen to want to drink one, you're not going to get overly drunk, which is good. You can have it with food, and it would taste exceptionally well, probably much better than just drinking like Budweiser or Busch or whatever you can get your hands on. Anyhow, let's try the flavor. Number one, it is a lager, which is great. It's not pretending to be a lager. A lot of times, brewers will make a beer that says, oh, it's a lager. No, it's just an ale masquerading as a lager. Okay. Very clean, Very dry. It's not sweet at all. Lagers and pilsners and that end of the spectrum need to be dry. Okay. They can be in some ways a little sweeter, not much. I would say this is brewed down to 1.01 or 2, something like that. So it's closer to the characteristics of water. It's very dry. It's not overly flavorful, like hit you in the face. I can taste the malt. I can taste the pale malt in this. And really, these are just made with a few types of malts, pale malts, maybe a few other ones that will give it a little bit more kick to it. But generally speaking, this is going to be made with just your pale malt. Yeah, on the back of the tongue, a little bit of a tang to it. Tang is a good word. I like that word. Let's see if I can produce some Brussels lace on this beer. I don't think I can. And again, that's not a gauge of the quality of beer. That is having Brussels lace, but it's just nice to know. It's nice to see. I'm not tasting any off flavors. I'm not tasting any metallic flavors. Now, Asheville is up in the mountains of North Carolina, so all of their water comes from exceptional sources. Okay. Water makes a huge difference in the quality of the beer by far. Okay. It's almost as important. Well, it's as important as all the rest of the ingredients. Definitely your water, definitely your malt. Yeah. Your yeast and your hops. Your hops is going to give it the overall characteristic flavors, such as your fruities, your esters, your piney, your other flavors that you aren't going to expect. And of course, your malt is going to give you your color. It's going to give you some characteristics, such as would be if I wanted to have, let's say, a very sweet characteristic, a biscuit characteristic. If I want to have a coffee or a chocolate characteristic, the yeast is going to give you things like some of your esters. Also, it's going to impart biscuity or other flavors like that. There's other flavors. There's other things that yeast are going to do as well. The water. Now, the water, again, is going to be very important. It can, just the difference in water, can change the profile of the beer pretty significantly. I'm not going to say drastically, but pretty significantly. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is going to be much better, much better than going to and getting a Budweiser. Okay. It's, to me, my standby, the beer that I lean on the most, my good old standby here, is going to be Yuengling Lager, believe it or not, Yuengling Traditional Lager. Okay, it's my lawnmower beer. It's inexpensive, and it does taste good. This is on par with it, but there are certain characteristics about the Yuengling that I would prefer over this. I wouldn't necessarily pay the price for this as much, but as a lager from a company that mainly makes ales, it is absolutely exceptional. It is on point with the style, and that's kind of me. I'm a beer purist. I like to have my styles of beer on point. Pardon me, a little carbonation there. I like carbonation. I like burping. Especially, it just tells me, it's almost like in Japan when you eat soup, you're going to slurp something. Well, that tells the chef that you enjoyed the meal. Burping tells me that the beer is on point and that it's doing its job. I'd love to find out the hops that they use in this. The hops is not overpowering, but you can tell that it's there. You can tell that it's got a slight bit of bite to it from the hops, but it's not killing you. It's not saying, "Okay, I'm a flower. Okay, I'm an orange." Okay, I'm a clove. I'm some sort of a spice of some sort. It's not overpowering. It's balancing out well with the lightness of the malt. Remember, the malt is a light malt, obviously from the light color. But to be quite honest, it's not the lightness of the beer isn't giving you an amazing amount of this really interesting malt characteristic, but it's giving you that nice, good base. You know that it's there. Yeah, there we go. Now the mouthfeel, carbonation, dry. There's really nothing much else to say about that because it is on point with a lager. I could drink it. I'm not sitting here going, I get the out of my mouth. Yeah, I'm not. But if I were to eat food with it, let's say like a cheese or let's say like something light like a pasta, it would go exceptional with it. It wouldn't overpower that food. In terms of the overall impression, well, first of all, I got to tell you, I love Green Man anyway. I mean, I go to my local bar over here and I look up on the board there and I go, "You've got Green Man. Which one do you got?" And they say ESB. Oh, I fall off the chair. I love Green Man. I've been to the Green Man Brewery in Asheville. If you ever get to go, if you go to Asheville, take a trip there. You can't swing a beer mug without hitting a brewery. Go to the Green Man Brewery. Go to the little shop next door. Okay, that's their little bar next door. It's called Dirty Jack's. I guarantee you, you're not going to be unhappy. I'll give you a little secret there too. Walk around the corner from the bar and look at the cooler door. Find the handle. It's a challenge. I love it. Oof. But they've got so many stickers on there. It's amazing. That's kind of a tradition at breweries, is to put little stickers from other breweries all over the place. But anyhow, go to Dirty Jack's. Go to the Green Man Brewery in and of itself, basically the shop, and take the tour. Walk around. It's an amazing place. You can see all the vats, and it's relatively large. I've got a buddy of mine, he calls it the Taj Mahal. And it's kind of like that. But other than that, impression, yes, get it. If you can find it, get it. Serve it to your people as a light beer. They will love it. Okay, they'll think it's the business. That's all I got to say about it. It's just lovely. Now, coming up, the beer specs.
What's your lightest beer? Craft brewers hear this question a lot. Green Man's answer is this crisp, legendary light lager. We salute all the great breweries around the world who continue to perfect this classic style. At 118 calories per 12-ounce serving and only 4.2% ABV, you can drink these all day. Enjoy cold and lighten up. Style: American Lager. SRM 2 to 3. IBU 14. 4.2% alcohol by volume. Suggested serving temperature 35 to 40 Fahrenheit. Suggested serving glass Pilsner.
Okay, folks, that's our review today of the Green Man Lager. The can's a little bit large there, but Green Man Lager from Green Man Brewing in Asheville, North Carolina. Again, get a chance to go to Asheville, go to Asheville. First of all, you want to go for a couple of days, okay? Stay at the Grove Park Inn. That's a wonderful little place to stay, holy Moses. Eat the Sunday brunch. It's not cheap, but it's wonderful. It's an amazing experience. But go to Asheville. Do some brewery crawls. Make sure that you've got good, adequate transportation back. If you stay downtown, you get a chance to walk downtown. It's a good walking city. Be careful, just like any other city. Be careful. But yeah, go to Asheville. It's lovely. Green Man Brewing. That's also, and they got a bunch of cideries there too. Anyhow, I do want to say thank you for letting me review this beer for you today. If you get a chance to pick it up, and you can pick it up in the Carolinas, you can pick it up, I believe, in Tennessee. It depends on who they have distributing at that time. You may be able to find it at a local beer or craft beer specialty store, so try that too. Anyway, again, thank you very much. Remember, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Okay, so subscribe, notification, hit the like button, leave comments below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you like, what you didn't like, how you want me to do it a little bit different, if there's a beer you want me to try, if you want to have something special you want us to review. We will be reviewing beers outside of the Carolinas coming up shortly. I've got a whole bunch that are from the Carolinas here. So yeah, we're going to focus on those for right now. Okay. Remember, pick up the beer review logbook from Amazon. I don't make any money off of it, okay? So I'm not really trying to hawk it for my personal benefit here, but it's a fantastic little book, $8.99. Carry it with you. It's got areas for you to write down your beer experiences. You can rate your beers. It's got the 5 categories in there. It follows pretty much that standard right there. And it's even got a good glossary and a good amount of beer knowledge written into it. So try that. If you're ever in the upstate of South Carolina, the Upstate South Carolina Ale Trail. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to drink a bunch of ales, but you can go to any one of these breweries in there. You can tick them off and say, I've been there. You can write your experiences, whatever beers you liked from in there, you can write them down. And it just gives you a whole wonderful amount of beer. Also, if you go to a Total Wine, pick up the Total Wine Total Guide to Beer. This one's about 12 years old, so it's a little old. And I've got a train coming through, and I'm very sorry. Give me a moment. While we're doing that, I'm going to drink some more beer. So good. Anyway, Total Wine Total Guide to Beer. They might have an online version or an electronic version. If not, go buy a Total Wine, see if they still have it. If not, email them. Ask them, hey, do you happen to have that? Now, the reason why I say this, and I say this on every one of my reviews, is it's just got an amazing amount of beer. And if you want to be a beer aficionado, I highly suggest this book here. Just so much stuff in there. And it goes through the different categories that are listed on the Beer Judge Certification Guidelines, okay, for the different classes of beer. If you think you know something about beer, pick this up. I guarantee you'll find out something new. And remember to pull down from the description the Beer Judge Certification Beer Score Sheet. If you don't want to carry the beer review logbook, carry this. Okay, you can write down your different beer experiences if you so desire on these areas here. There are the 5 areas. Remember, we're doing the 5 categories. Off flavors, that'll give you a good measurement, a good gauge to say, what are my flavors that I'm tasting and why am I tasting them? Okay, so definitely get this, pull it down, print it, it's free. Again, everything I give you is going to be free. Again, the descriptions, the links are in the description. Pull them down. And remember, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video. It helps us grow the channel. Become a member, okay? So do that subscription there. Anyhow, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Remember, sláinte, prost, chin chin, kanpai, salud, and of course from America, cheers. Ah, lovely, 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 lovely. Peace, love, and beer.